I think we are live. Just give it a second. All right. Hello, everyone. I hope everybody's Friday is going well. I'm trying to get set up here. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for stopping by for another round of Wrap Up Fridays. Tonight, I'll be discussing the vice presidential debate and also talking about the HEROES Act, the ACA, what will happen if the ACA is dismantled, and there was some talk about Clarence Thomas and another Supreme Court justice. They were they decided to they added their little comment basically saying that they believe that same-sex marriage should be abolished. So I'll be talking about that too as well. So I guess we might as well go ahead and get started. So after that hot mess of a debate between President Trump and former Vice President Biden last week, that was marked by constant interruptions, of course, by Trump, name calling, and the poor moderator not able to control the discussions. Wednesday's night vice presidential debate was more calm. Granted, there were times when Mike Pence did interrupt Kamala Harris, but girl, she knew how to hold her own. So let's start discussing the takeaway from the debate. So several of the debate questions were around the coronavirus, which makes sense. For instance, they asked Kamala, what about what would a Biden administration do to combat the pandemic? So her response was, a national strategy of contact tracing, testing, and ensuring vaccines are free for all, which I definitely agree. But I want to expand on that and basically say that if I'm elected, I would push for a mandatory requirement for everyone to wear a mask when out in public. If we're going to slow the spread, we really need everyone wearing a mask. It's not just for your safety, but the safety of others. Everyone that comes in contact with you. So anybody has any thoughts on Biden's plan when it comes to combating the pandemic? And you can put the questions in the comment section, and I'll see them. All right, so I'm just going to move on. So the next question that they were talking about was would raising taxes on the wealthy put the economy recovery at risk? That was addressed to Kamala Harris, and in my opinion, no, it wouldn't. And basically, what she said was that according to Joe Biden, no one making less than $40,000, and I'm pretty sure anybody that's watching this video, this live stream, is not making over $40,000. Your taxes will not be raised. He does plan to repeal the Trump's tax bill. And I know on the debate there was some argument over his tax bill and how would it affect everyday Americans. So here's the answer. So yes, Trump's tax bill did cut our taxes, okay? But here's the caveat here. It's temporary, and it will expire in 2025. And then when it does, it shifts shift most of the benefits to the top 1%. The only thing that was permanent was the corporate tax rate that was lowered to 21%. So, according to Kamala Harris, what they want to do with the money when they raise the taxes of the people making over $400 a year is to invest in infrastructure, clean and renewable energy, and innovation. And, innovation is definitely important because, since Trump took office, we're behind. China has invested billions, if not trillions, in innovation. So we need to catch up. She also mentioned free 2-year college if your family makes less than $125,000 per year. And student loans, which I didn't agree, they're going to cut. They're going to give you a cut of $10,000, which for student loans, that's a drop in the bucket. My student loans are like over $70,000. And most people have their student loans around that amount, depending on if you just stopped at a bachelor's degree or you decided to go to master's or maybe a PhD. So, but my plan, what I want to do is to pay off everybody's student loans by raising the corporate tax rate from 21% to 23%. That will be able to pay off everybody's student loan, and on top of that, it will also for people who've already paid their loans, they'll get a $50,000 tax credit. And finally, what I want to do is to eliminate the student loan interest rate, because this is ridiculous. We're trying to better ourselves, and we have to pay interest rates on it, where if corporations, when they need bailouts, they get a 0% interest rate. So why are we putting more burden on hardworking people who want to just better themselves? So at the very least, I would hope that the Biden and Harris plan would address, getting rid of the student interest rates. Okay, so I see a question. Italy just elected the mandate mask indoors and outdoors countrywide to prevent second wave. How can we implement this at least in our district? Pascal and Pinellas. Well, so at the federal level, it would we would have to go through Congress, but at the state level, I would think that maybe your the mayor or your or the governor DeSantis, which would that had never happened, they could implement the mandate for mask wearing. But to be honest with you, even if it's just in Pasco and Pinellas, it really won't benefit us. Because what about people who are in Orlando or in neighboring counties that come and visit? So I think that it needs to be across the United States. It needs to have that mandate where everybody has to wear a mask when out in public, because then we can definitely slow it. But if we're doing patchwork where it's some states or some cities have that mandate, it's not gonna be as effective. Okay. So, anybody else have any questions? All right. So yeah. So what I really hope Biden and Harris do with the student loans is, at least, like I said, get rid of the interest rate, because it is killing people. So moving on to the next debate question, basically was the talk about the Green New Deal. Now, if you listen to Pence and Trump, millions of Americans will lose their jobs. You're not going to be able to eat beef anymore. It's just all this crazy stuff that they're talking about. That is really not true. Yes, cows do, their manure do produce more greenhouse gas, but there is a way to actually turn that greenhouse gas, that manure, actually into electricity, renewable electricity. There are some companies, some electric companies that are currently doing that. So there are ways around, ways to lower the emission rate, and not have to, and not deal with this thing about where they keep talking about our jobs that we're going to lose jobs. What will happen is we will increase jobs through with green jobs. So the Trump and Pence, Pence claimed that that because through the innovation of Trump, CO2 emissions dropped. Well, that's true, but it dropped during the time when we were locked down, nobody was driving, so of course CO2 emissions are going to drop. So look, the Green New Deal is nothing more than a congressional resolution that lays out a grand plan for tackling climate change. Um, there have been variations of the deal in, back in the days. This is not the first Green New Deal. I believe, oh God, what is her name? Jill Stein came out with one, and then there was somebody else that also came out with another one. So it's not, but we have to really look at climate change. I mean, it is real. We need to start taking preemptive measures to lower our carbon footprint before it is too late. Question, how can we have it? Oh, thank you. Okay, so any questions on the Green New Deal? And maybe, what are you hoping for, if we are able to implement some variation of that Green New Deal, what are you looking for? I'm personally looking for a really good infrastructure that is more modern compared to right now. China has it, by the way. So, okay, no questions? All right, moving on. So Trump and his administration, okay, let's see here. Oh, wait a minute. I heard 400,000, not 40,000, as a cutoff, which is correct. For what, Peter? What is, Peter, you said 400,000, not 40,000 as a cutoff? Well, what are you talking about? All right. Well, he'll probably get back with me. So Jasmine says Jeff Bezos made so much money on pandemic, he could give everyone one of his employees 80K bonus and still not lose any money. Why does Amazon pay no income tax at this point? Well, that's because that 21% for one, that the Trump tax cut of 21%, yeah, that really made Jeff Bezos very happy. And then on top of that, they didn't really close any of the loopholes either. So, from what I heard, Amazon, the government paid Amazon. They didn't owe taxes. They were able to get money back from the taxes. So no, that I agree. That makes no sense to me. Where my mom, who's retired and lives on Social Security, and she has a little bit of 401k, she ended up owing that year for taxes. So yeah, it makes no sense. All right, so let's talk about the ACA. So during the debate, there was a question directed to Mike Pence on how would the Trump administration protect pre-existing conditions. Now, I don't know if y'all watched it, but dude did not answer that question. He totally deflected it. So I'm going to answer that question for him. So right now, the Trump administration does not have anything in place if the ACA is dismantled by the Supreme Court. So currently, insurers can only adjust premiums for individuals based on age, geographic, and tobacco use. But if the ACA is dismantled, insurers may deny coverage or raise premiums based on conditions. Another thing that was missed is that if the ACA is dismantled, everyone plan will become less comprehensive. The ACA compliant health plan are required to cover like 10 categories of essential health benefits like maternity care, mental health, substance abuse treatment, and prescription drugs. So we will all lose some of those comprehensive plans. And then also Kamala Harris did mention that the dependent coverage to adult children up to the age of 26 will go bye-bye. So we will lose a lot if the ACA is dismantled. I remember before the ACA where you could be denied health care or portion of it, what they did was they put it in a rider or something like that, where if you had a pre-existing condition, they would write that part out so it wouldn't be covered. So I don't know exactly if that would, if it'll go back to that, but my guess it would. So that is a problem, and then of course, even if they work to cover you and your pre-existing condition, it will be extremely high. So, anybody got any questions about that? I think Peter was talking about Joe Biden's income tax. Yes, $400,000. Did I say $40,000? Oh, okay, my bad. I'm so sorry. Yes, it's $400,000. If you make over $400,000, then he's going to tax you. And of course, like I said, most of us do not make 400,000 plus, so we're pretty good. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so let's see here. We're talking about what is next? Oh, okay. So next, I wanted to talk about, unless anybody has any questions, the HEROES Act. So last week, the House of Representatives revised the HEROES Act. So they call it the HEROES Act Part 2. So they took it down from 3.4 trillion to 2.2 trillion to meet some of the Senate demands, and hoping that they would, get some of Republicans on board, so they can pass some type of stimulus bill to help everyday, help everyday Americans. So some of the provisions in the bill include, and they really didn't change much, is one is the reinstate of $600 per week of unemployment benefits, a second round of $1,200 stimulus check, $436 billion in relief to state and local governments, $225 billion in education, and most important is billions set aside for rental and mortgage assistance, because so many people are behind on their mortgage and their rental, and they are definitely going to need some type of help. Okay, what? Bill Rockets claim he have best health care in the world. If true, why are black women have highest maternity mortality rate in hospitals? So yes, so basically for African Americans, especially with maternity, we do tend to have complications. I had complications with my daughter Janae, but I was lucky. I was in the military, and so I had pretty good doctors that helped me. So African Americans, they unfortunately the healthcare is we don't go to the we're not able to afford to go to the doctor as much. Like when you're pregnant, you have to go to the doctor a lot of times. For me, I became what they call gestational diabetes because my weight, based off of my weight, it just seems like I always become diabetic if the more I weigh, and it's the same thing that happened to me when I was pregnant. And so there are always complications when it came to us having children because of the lack of health care that we're able to afford. So that's the reason why the mortality rate is kind of down for African Americans, especially during for maternity. Taxation. Okay, I don't understand that, Peter. All right, so yes. So like I said, the most important part, in my opinion, on the HEROES Act Part 2 or 2.0 is that their rules set aside billions for rental and mortgage assistance. Now, systemic disparities. Exactly. You are not looking at the comments. I am looking at the comments. Anyway. So I wanted to take note that for the HEROES Act, the Republicans, not one single Republican voted for that bill. Meanwhile, the Senate top priority is to push forward the nomination for the Supreme Court justice instead of working with the House to pass another relief bill for struggling Americans. So, where are we going from here? We definitely need to pass that HEROES Act to provide economic relief for Americans that are affected during the pandemic. The federal government can definitely play a key role by providing additional funding to state and local governments to help them create a granular view of who needs help to keep their job or to find new jobs. This is definitely a perfect opportunity where we can start investing in broadband. That will bring some jobs. Broadband for all America. You know, China has it. I don't understand why we can't. And research and development and decarbonization technology in manufacturing. So, so while we're on the subject about the HEROES Act, Gus Billirakis had a Facebook event earlier today. And I just wanted to touch on something that he said regarding the stimulus package. So according to him, he doesn't believe in bailing out cities and states pre-COVID due to mismanagement of their funds. But he did claim that cities and states suffering from COVID, he's okay with giving them funds or loans to make sure that everything is taken care of. But to me, that really doesn't make any sense. Because all states are suffering because of the pandemic. And to deny funding for states, or should I say Democratic states, because the list that he gave, the example, were all Democratic states. I mean, it is basically shameful. They need money to pay, the first responders, the teachers. So this shouldn't even be about, demonizing states on how they might have mismanagement their budget pre-COVID-19. This is about helping people in America who are struggling to pay their bills, put food on their tables, and just to live. So I just, I didn't agree with him on that one. So anybody has any comments? Gus is, yeah. Well, yeah, and that talking point that he stated about not helping states because of mismanagement, that actually came from Trump. So, I was like, oh, that's, talking point right there. Yes, nothing in Trump sanctions makes sense. Exactly. Okay. So, there was another thing that Gus was talking about the unemployment, where he doesn't believe that, we should be giving them $600 per week. Yeah, I told Peter it was I made a mistake, and not 40,000, but 400,000. So I don't know if he's still on or not, but yes, 400,000. Children in Florida, thousand have no health care. I was under impression that all children are covered. I'm not sure. I know that's more of a state. I believe that, I guess it's based off of, I would assume that they are, but I can see where that might have to do with based off of how much money your parents make, if you're below the poverty line. But I thought that they were too. I am reading the comments. I'm looking at your comment right now, and I'm just reading it. I mean, I see the comment. Does he not see me talking, reading the comments? Because I just read Jasmine's comment, and now I'm reading your comment, Angela. And it says, he said you're not reading the comments. I am reading the comments, so I don't know. So yeah, but in reference to the Florida, the all children are covered. Yeah, but if you're talking about, basically when I was talking about the ACA, where people under 26, I'm talking about the adult children, not children that are 18 and below. I'm talking about adult kids that can stay on their parents' plan until they're 26 years old. So that's what I was referencing. Let's see here. So yeah, like I said, another mention Gus Billirakis was talking about was about unemployment. He does not believe we should give $600 per week of unemployment benefits. I was trying to tell you that Peter said you weren't reading the comments. That's why I asked you to repeat. Yeah, no, I get it. So according to him, he was giving an example is, in any case, can you tell us how your experience in the military? Well, okay, that's definitely a good question. So let me talk to you about my experience in the military. Pull something up here. Give me a second. So the military definitely is, I believe, something that, in my opinion, everybody should at least try. Um, I had the opportunity of serving this great country, and what I've learned when I served in the military was, because of the many challenges required by our military, we are frequently relocating to new institutions. So the benefit is that we learn to work with people of varying backgrounds, cultures, and skill sets. Critical thinking and critical decisions made daily are daily increased on already stressful environments where deliverables are continuing to change. We are delegated. There's delegation and teamwork are definitely vital. We have to depend to watch on each other and to each other's backs to accomplish the mission. Leadership and persistence are a capital in situations where the job demands success without adequate resources. And I can give you an example of that, like where I was in 290 of JCSS on MacDill Air Force Base, and we my AFSC, which is my job, is well, they changed it, but it is dealing with Cisco routers, computers. So basically, if you drop me anywhere in the world, I will have internet, video telecommunications, everything up and secure for the soldiers. That's basically what I did at JCSE. And but we had very limited resources, but we still had to be able to accomplish that mission. Now, granted, the Air Force gets more stuff than the Army does, but that was an example of where there were times where we didn't have all the tools that we need, but we still needed to get that mission accomplished. Another thing is, as a leader, you must make tough decisions, and there are times when those decisions are not popular, but are necessary for the greater good. That is something that I definitely learned. And then entrusted in national security missions. I hold a top secret security clearance. And we must be independent thinkers, be able to accomplish the mission, and also be able to be, the government has entrusted us with this information. So that level of trust, you definitely hold at a higher standard. You're being held at a higher standard. So this is why, this is what my military experience and why it will help me be a congressman, because I'll get a chance to work with different people. For me in the military, we did not see Democrat or Republican. We saw soldier, and we worked together to accomplish the mission. And even when I left the military and worked for U.S. SOCOM or JCSE, I worked alongside Republicans. We used to hold our conversations about Trump and everything, but we still got things done. And so that's why I don't understand how it's hard for Congress to just get stuff done for the people, because we did it at JCSE and at SOCOM. We got it done for those soldiers downrange. How hard is it for them to do it, with us, But they play politics, and it is just sad. So I didn't mean to get on my soapbox on that, but yeah. Let's see here. Gus says, if you don't have any bread, eat cake. Yeah, that's pretty much true, because he wants to. So what Gus wants to do is, well, this is what his recommendation, but it would never happen. He thinks that based off of how much you make is how much you should be getting at the for unemployment. But the problem is, and this is what I read, so I don't, I'm not. This is not coming as an expert, but the way that the state system is built, which is crappy and is old, I don't think it can handle everybody everybody getting paid a different amount of money. That's why, with unemployment, the state of Florida gets, $275, or when the federal government was giving out the money, it was $600. Now it's $300. So I don't think it's possible to pay you what you made at your previous job, because everybody pay is different. Let's see. Hopefully Trump will be voted out, but God forbid he is not. Will you stand up to his lack of ability to lead and his lack of... Of course I will. Yes, I will. They do not get stuff done because they're afraid of Trump. Yes, they are. And which I don't understand. But even before that, let's be realistic. They weren't doing anything anyway. I mean, Trump is just the symptom, and this has been happening even before Trump. But yes, yeah, I would definitely stand up to lack of judgment. Let's see. Okay. All right. So I wanted to talk about this same-sex marriage. So Justice Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito filed an unusual comment in which they continue to argue that same-sex marriage cause was wrongly decided. They have adopted a popular theme of the hardcore religious right, that the extension of rights to the same-sex couples is somehow infringement on their religious freedom. Yes, love is love. So this is what I have to say about that. I don't understand how I am infringing on your religious rights or your religious freedom. If I'm married, how does that affect you at all? And it baffles me that in the 21st century, we are still fighting for our fundamental rights here, just to be treated equally. So I do definitely have an issue with Clarence, and Clarence Thomas, of all people, should understand how it is to be discriminated against. So, I mean, I don't understand that. I disagree with him. I think that I am glad that the Supreme Court finally ruled that gays and lesbians can marry. It is a shame that we had to go that route, because everybody is equal, and we, as long as I'm not hurting you, what difference does it make? So, anybody has any topics of that? Let me see, what's your thoughts on it? Amy Coney Barrett will try to even get rid of the Roe v. Wade in addition to ACA. Little does she know that Regeneron, the drug that Donald Trump is taking, is derived from... oh man, really? I didn't know that. I did some research on it, and it seems that that is so, comma. Wow. So yeah, no, I did not know that Regeneron is derived from human fetus. Okay. So those are international human rights under the UN Human Rights Charter that they don't want to abide. Yeah, that is true. And you're saying, if Trump refuses to leave the office after election, are the armed forces going to be loyal to him or a new president? The armed forces. So the armed forces will. So if Trump loses, he's no longer president after a certain date. So he has to leave. We take orders from our president, the current president. So yeah. So no, the armed forces would not be loyal to him, and it's not so much as the armed forces, is your generals, your top brass. That's where we get all our orders from. So we just take orders from the top, so our generals, and they're not going to allow Trump to stay any longer than what is needed. And I would hope that he relinquish the power and just go on and find another career, or do whatever he wants to do with his life after the presidency, and not cause any more mess. So, but no, yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. They will definitely remove him from office if he does not want to go willingly. Anybody else have any questions? No? Any more questions? All right, does anybody have any questions about my platform? I am running on, healthcare. My big one is I want to lower the cost of prescription drugs by actually reforming that patent, because you have pharmaceutical companies that are currently stacking them, and they're holding the monopoly of those drugs longer than the 10 years that is supposed to be. So basically what happens is if they put a patent on a drug, and so they make a modification to the drug, then they put another patent on it, so that it extends it. What I want to do is say, okay, so the drug, so the original drug is patented for 10 years, and if you want to make a change to that drug, the ingredients in that drug is patented, but not the original drug. So the original drug, once 10 years is over with, can go. The generic companies can actually start using it, but they can't use what is patented. So with the change in the ingredients or whatever. So that's my idea of how to actually reform the patent system. Let's see what they say. The armed forces have an open letter supporting Biden with over 500 leaders signing it. Yeah, and especially after Trump has kind of, called us dumb for joining the service and don't understand what we're getting out of it. So yeah, I would think so. It has to be a landslide. So let's all vote. I agree. We do not want it where it's going to be questionable, because it will be a long one. And here's another thing also that's very important. This is why it's essential that we vote as many vote me in congressional Democrats in, is because that the contingent, basically what happens is, if this is, say, the state of Florida, it's questioned that that Trump and Biden are going to win or whatever. Trump has, oh God, what is it called? He questions it, or he takes it to the Supreme Court or something like that, challenges it. That's what the word I'm looking for. The delegates will have to vote. Right now, the state of Florida, there's 14 to 13. So the Republicans have more than we do. So that's why it's important to not only hold the House, but increase the numbers of congressional leaders, especially here in Florida. So if that ever comes to be, then we can vote properly. So Peter, so we say, do you have a position paper which summarizes what you will strive for if elected to Congress? For example, how would you work to reform our immigration policies? You have worked in the prison system. You have worked in the prison system. How would you reform this? Yes, I do have. I do have a basic paper that summarizes all my stuff. And I'll be more than happy to send anybody one. It's just basically some talking points, but it kind of gets into a little bit of a detail on, what are my goals on how am I going to, deal with the immigration and with prison reform. So for the prison system, I am definitely against private prisons. I don't think that they are trained enough, because for those who do not know, I am a prior correction officer. They're not held to the type of standard that a state correctional officer is held. For example, state correction officers, we have to go to school, we have to get trained, we have to continue to stay up on our training, we have to be certified. And I don't believe that the correction officers in those type of prisons are. So also, how would I reform the prison system? Well, reforming the prison system is a little bit different. So basically, I believe that we need to catch people before they are going into getting in the prison system, because once they're in, it's very hard for them. A lot of times they end up coming back. They're repeat offenders. So more social programs with the young kids. Definitely trying to help them out. Education is a big thing for us. I am pushing for education, raising teachers' salary, lifelong learning. When people are getting paid and they feel good, I don't, you know, a lot of times uh, that actually will bring down the amount of people that are getting the prison population. For immigration, um, my view is to help enact legislation that will provide a clear and accessible roadmap to citizenship for undocumented individuals already residing in the United States. I do not believe in separating people or getting or because a lot of times these people who are living in the United States have lived here for years. They have children that are American citizens, and I do not believe in separating families. I also want to eliminate existing backlogs in family-based permanent visas, offer a fast track to citizenship to immigrants that join the military, and provide safe and legal means of migration through entry points. So basically, when they're there, instead of having them sit out there, let's provide safe and legal means in so we can hear their case and decide if they should stay here or if they have to go back. And then also finally, definitely pass DACA because they're DACA. I do believe that they deserve to be citizens. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see. COVID vaccine should be patented. Patented. It shouldn't be free for public good like polio vaccine. I don't understand that. I do believe that the vaccine should be free for the COVID at least the initial one. Come on now. We're talking about we have and y'all have to excuse me. My dog is making a lot of noise in the background. So anyway, the we're talking about a pandemic right now, and right now we need to get as many people vaccinated as possible. So if the government has to flip the bill, that's fine too. But that's what we really need to do. Yes, that should be patented for the vaccine, but it should be free. Yes, but it definitely should be free. Where do you stand on reforming, not defending the police? I hate the word defunding. Obviously, law enforcement needs more money, but what changes do you see in law enforcement? Law enforcement. So, for police reform, I also believe I am against defunding the police. Most law enforcement officers, they do their jobs professionally and with honor. There are those who commit crimes against minorities, and that's why I support a George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. So this is a bill that will address a wide range of policies and issues regarding policing practices and law enforcement accountability. Um, and as far as doing some other reforms, some of the money should go towards this. It's not defunding; it's just taking some of the money and investing in hiring mental health counselors that can ride along with police or accompany police during a crisis where a mental health person is needed more than a police officer. So that is kind of how I kind of envision on how the changes in law enforcement. And then also we definitely need a national registry to compile data on complaints in regards of police misconduct and establish a framework of prohibiting racial profiling at the federal, state, and local levels. Yes, more on your platform if you have time. I believe in your platform, healthcare, etc., human rights. I believe in voting rights, campaign finance for the People Act, but I am conflicted about Greece and Turkey. Gus Billirakis is active in those affairs. So yeah, yeah. So what would you like to know, Kathy? I definitely can talk to you about whatever. I believe in as far as we're working with countries. So I definitely believe in working with other countries, Greece, Turkey, wherever, where we can definitely help each other out. My idea of working internationally with various countries is I believe that because China is doing it for one, and China is really hitting the third world countries like Africa and and helping them out. But I definitely believe in partnerships with, with Greece, Israel, Turkey, anybody that wants to do partnerships, as long as they definitely fall up under some of the standards that we have in America as far as working rights with, other countries. Let's see, immigrants build America. Yes, they did. The flu shot is free. Yes, it is. Sorry, no, you're not. So, anybody has any other questions? Because if not, I'm going to let y'all go because, it's kind of, Friday night. Um, and so, if you don't have any more questions, you can also go to my website, Ask Him, and I just send me an email. It'll send me information, and I'll respond back to your question. I'll try to have another wrap-up Friday next week. I am playing with just an actual town hall where I'm just completely going from A to Z about all my policies, so that might actually replace the wrap-up Friday, but I will definitely let you know in advance. Let's see, we imprison more than any other country in the world. We have an obligation to meet the quota required by privatization systems. It is humane and human. I agree. That's why I'm not for privatizing prisons. And like I said, they do not have all the training that is required, like public prisons are, like state corrections. Yes, you have a good routine too. Debate. So yeah, I will put. Okay. Somebody emailed me a couple of days ago and asked me about the debate. So there was somebody, I believe it was Ray Donovan or somebody, had reached out to me about a debate from I think CBS, one of the news places, and they asked me if I wanted to debate Gus Baracus, and I said sure. And they said they would get back in contact with me. So this was in August. They said, and basically they were saying September or October. So October hasn't completely passed yet. I have not heard back from them. Somebody else reached out to me and said Gus Baracus said that he already debated me. No, that's not true. We there was a forum where they asked the same question between me and Gus, and it was not just me and Gus. It was all the candidates in Pinellas County, and and it was just a question and answer, and then they asked Gus the question, and he answered it. There was no rebuttal, so this was not a debate. So it was okay. Let's see here. Yes, will there be a debate? Thank you so much for you. Yeah, so we, like I said, I will be reaching out to the guy that reached out to me about the debate and see what is the status on it, because they're the ones that can definitely, they have all, because they said they would do all the setup and everything, because I don't have time to do all that stuff. So, and then plus their newscast, so it would definitely be aired. So I will reach out to him and find out what is the status on it, and I will definitely let everybody know, especially if there is a debate between me and Gus Baracus. Okay. All right. So yes. So for my information, my platform information, just go on my website, or even just put it on here. Well, no, don't put it on here because but I need your email address. Or maybe I'll just put it on the website. But actually, come to think about it, I apologize. I am just kind of rambling here. I will put it on my Facebook page where you can go, because actually there is a breakdown, because now since everybody has gotten their ballot, I have noticed a huge amount of people hitting my website. And so instead of everybody clicking on the different issues, I just combine it all into one page. So I will send you that page because that has all the information on what I'm running on. All right, you killed the debate. Gus is a bad debater. I don't. To be honest with you, I've never debated, so I don't know. But I'm willing to try. I'll get out there and do my best. So But I have heard that they say that Gus is not that good at the debate. But he debated Chris Hunter, and he did okay. So we'll see. All right, everybody. I want y'all, everyone, to have a great evening, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.